Hey everyone, welcome to a new series we're starting today called TV Dinner, where we talk about TV shows. The first show that we're going to discuss is Gen V, based on the TV show The Boys. It's the prequel slash intermixed in what's going on in The Boys. So we're going to do, at least as of right now, we're going to do two episodes of Gen V per episode of TV Dinner, and that may change. We're still trying to work through it, so bear with
No, we're stuck in it.
us.
Yeah, so first two episodes, we both watched the first two episodes of Gen V.
Yes.
And this is sort of like with our podcast for Five Nights at Freddy's. This is pretty fresh. This is a new
Yeah.
show. It's still going. I still see that it's still releasing on Amazon. And
I think
so
there's going to be a total of 10 episodes. We're
10
at, I think
episodes.
they're at like episode 7 right now, and it's a
Yeah.
weekly release.
So yeah, I think my biggest question is like, where in the timeline of the boys does this kind of happen? Because there's already been like three seasons of the boys, right?
3, and they're about to have the fourth. I think they're concurrent, just based on things that I've seen on like TikTok. That's my go-to. So they've shown some of the characters, like Marie, the one of the main characters. I guess she was briefly shown on the screen in one of the episodes of The Boys.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think these are concurrent.
So because like my thing is like, all right, like we in terms of like spoiler warning, I think like I'm gonna kind of like spoil something from the boys, and then we may kind of
Mm,
spoil things throughout the season
yeah,
for this show. I'm assuming that the things that Homelander does throughout the seasons of the boys and to the culmination of almost kind of like dating a Nazi and and all that stuff, and having a child. I think this is sort of like in the same time as the first season, because like
mm,
the Homelander still like towards the end of the second episode, they have like a TV broadcast and they say that Homelander did kill somebody, but
yeah.
that seemed like a fairly typical thing that like will kind of come out during the news and stuff, but not to the extent of what you see at the end of like season
Oh, The
three,
Boys.
and like how like
Yeah,
he's kind of like kind of going down into the shades of madness and stuff. So that's
maybe
my guess.
season two. Maybe season two, because season three is when he all hell broke loose. But season two of The Boys was when he was dating that other superhero, right?
I think so, and it kind of makes me want to go back and kind of watch those.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. But
Yeah.
this, like, I enjoyed this, and I think it I think it's similar to The Boys. Like when first watched The Boys, I enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, where can they take this? And as you continue to watch it, it's like, oh, I'm fully invested. And I think this is going to be the same way because they do a lot of the same crazy, raunchy things we had talked about right before we started recording. That one of the characters, Emma, Little Cricket, yeah, Little Cricket, she does some questionable things with a man's body part when she's in her tiny state, which reminded me of when I forgot the character's name, but there's a tiny character in The Boys that runs into somebody's
Junk.
genitalia and just explodes that person. So I love that they're keeping up with that crazy raunchiness.
And also the realism of the world, where it's like, if like sadly you kind of have it where like you have like a situation that happens on campus, and like people are trying to like post it on their social media, or
Yeah.
people are trying to find the best kind of way to present themselves from this kind of horrible situation, and that
Well,
does
you saw
happen
that
in
character.
the real world.
Yeah, you saw that one character. She stretched her arm out and she was like in tears, and then 2 seconds later, she's like, "All right, whatever," and kept moving. It's like this man just exploded in front of you. What are you doing?
And they probably didn't even know who he was too. It's like it's a big campus, and you're
Yeah.
depending on your rank, and I think there's like that like caste
That
system where it's
hierarchy.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, the higher ranked peoples talk to each other and the lower
Hmm.
people don't talk. And then depending on your school too, the crime fighting
Oh
probably
yeah.
don't talk to the acting people. Which is like
That's
a
so
good scenario.
crazy.
I like that.
Yeah. And that's so crazy. Like, I would have never thought to do that. Like, hey, let's take our characters from the boys and give a perspective of college students trying to become a part of the seven and like
Hmm.
all the different avenues they can go into in order to become superheroes. They may not join the seven, but they'll be a superhero in some capacity.
Or it shows a realization of people going through college and you're like, I
Right.
want that that job that's like 1 in 10 people in the nation get.
Yeah.
And then or like out of the 10 people, like I'm trying to be that person
That
where it's
number
almost like
one.
you almost have to like tell yourself, all right, if I can't get that, I have to find another avenue. And then it's more so like go into acting or go into this and stuff.
Become a lawyer.
Yeah.
You
So
always need
you
that
kind of have
plan
to like
B.
put yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that because it like yes, I feel like The Boys is the very adult version where like
Yes.
they're grown up, they're dealing with like real big things, adult things,
Doing the
and this is
wildest
sort
shit.
of wild stuff and everything, doing
Yeah.
parties and drugs and killing people and all this other stuff while trying to be a superhero. And then this is like, all right, like how does one try to be that while also
Yeah.
getting an education?
Yeah. That's the crazy part. Is like they really don't show them in class. They're
No,
kind of
yeah.
just like out in a, which is typical college though. Like I remember going and be like, oh, I have class at 4. Ah, I don't want to go today. Let's go do something else. And like we would go do something else. Let's go grab food. Let's go eat, or I mean, let's go drink or whatever it may be.
Yeah, you
So
kind of
yeah, that definitely
find
felt like
things
college.
to kind of distract you from like, all right,
Yeah,
like I can go to this class next
yeah.
week and stuff.
I already paid for it. Like, what's the point of me going? Like, ah,
or your class is like the acting class where the guy just like talks for 5 minutes and he's like, all right, come back next week with something.
I've definitely had a class like that, especially the first 2 weeks of school. They're like, let's do the roll. Okay, bye. I'll see you next time. Right.
That's the epitome of like almost showing a movie when you had a substitute.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my goodness.
In terms of like, let me ask you this: like,
Mhm.
I think what's cool about the boys or the whole universe of the boys and now this Gen V is
Yeah.
that it tries to like have like a variety of powers,
Yeah.
and the main character's power is fairly unique and almost fairly unique in how they found out about their power. And I was like, when I was watching that, I was like, oh, that sucks. That makes puberty so much harder.
But that instantly made me think of one of the first scenes in the first season of The Boys when A Train killed what's his face's girlfriend.
Yeah,
Just blood splatter everywhere. So I
that's
like that
true.
they kept up with that.
But yeah, that is like a fairly like comparable kind of situation where it's like,
This was more gruesome because that was her parents,
yeah,
but it was yeah, it was
and
expected for the boys.
in the scenario of like how you're finding that out and stuff. So I'm assuming in terms of the story, I forget like, because in terms of the story of Gen V, what I'm getting is that they're not born superheroes. They
Mm-mm.
were altered by something, right?
They were given V, right?
I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still
I
kind of
think
like
it
I
was
was
V.
clouded by that.
Yeah, but that's similar to what I always forget these damn characters' names. But in the boys, what's his face? he start in season 3. He started taking that in order to battle Homelander. His name
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Billy Butcher. Butcher starts taking V and becomes a madman. But that's something that, and I think they touch on it in season 3 of the boys. But some kids are given V, and that's how they get superpowers.
And so I'm guessing that there's like the reason why these individuals don't kind of like have to take it like Billy is because they were like pumped
They were
with
given to
so
it at
much of
birth.
it that they're
Hmm.
like now they naturally make it and stuff
Yeah,
and all
or
that.
it's just part of their body.
Right? Right.
Yeah,
And let me ask you this: what do you think this forest is? We know
Oh,
that
the
there's like the
woods.
overarching, or the woods. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, there's this overarching that like people were given this drug or this
Hmm.
substance without their knowledge and turned them into this.
Yeah.
But what's this like? What then? What's this woods thing?
It reminded me of the lab in Stranger Things. It's like a
Hmm.
place where they're experimenting on these kids, these students, to see. My guess is like to see how far they can push them, or see like what sort of experiments they can test in order to maybe affect other supers.
So yeah, I'm
That's where
guessing
my
that.
mind went with it.
I think so too. Where it's like it is like a testing ground,
Yeah.
where I was kind of like taken back to like the story of like Wolverine, where like he has that like that was it like Lieutenant Stryker that makes him the
Oh yeah.
Wolverine and all this
Yeah.
stuff. So like they test on them, they try to figure out like, all right, what's their like good things, what's their bad things, and try to tailor that. Another thing was that almost like what you said with like the Stranger Things aspect, it's like these are the ones that kind of affect the grand scale of things,
Hmm.
and are they the ones that like hold this key to something that you can either can bring down
Yeah.
Vought or kind of something else and stuff. And I think that's like because the school has sort of like a hand holding situation with Vought, right? Is that where
Hmm.
we're kind of getting? So
Like
I
Bot
guess
runs
I
it.
am intrigued. I am intrigued by this
Yeah.
story.
How do you like the characters so far? Like I know you touched on Marie. That's the main character who has the blood power.
I like her. Marie's actually a very good character, and the
Yeah.
counterpart that they choose to be the main ranking person, the chosen one,
Oh, Golden Boy.
is a yeah. Well,
Yeah.
after Golden Boy kind of like does his own thing,
Oh, Andre.
the I think it's Andre. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna
Yeah,
start
because
like
his
forgetting
dad was
people's
part of
names.
the Seven.
Yeah, and they have
Yeah.
like the same kind of power and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
so I
Control
think that
metal or something.
yeah, they can like move things and like, but I think them two are good. I actually really like the cricket character. At
I like Little
first, when I
Cricket too.
saw like the warning sign at the before the first episode that there was going to be sort of things that YouTube
Graphic.
does not like to talk about, I thought it was a little cricket that was going to be
Yeah.
doing the whole process herself. But I'm kind of glad because like she's an interesting character and she's sort of like that
Yeah.
support character for the main character where it's like I am annoying, but also I'm trying to like ground everything and like and
Yeah.
deal with all the crap too, where you have to like get small and jump on some dude's junk.
That is seeing that was you can't prepare yourself for that. Like the conversation leading up to it, you're like, nah, there's no way they're gonna push. They're actually gonna do this. There's no way. And then they do it, and then there's a close up. And you're like, come on, like
Fatty was like,
only
"How
in
did
this
they film
universe.
that? Like, what do you think is the thing that they had to like? What is she like
It's
grabbing
probably a
onto? Like a
stick.
big."
Yeah, it's probably a big old stick.
I just feel like that was like the weirdest thing to film and all
It's
that.
like, hey, we need you to go on this blue screen, and we
And
need you to
pretend.
jump on this. Like slap it around a little bit,
Did
and
they
in
have like a
post, you'll
little
see
like
what it actually is.
animation? Here you go. This is what we think you should be
This is
like.
what you're doing right now. This is what the end result's gonna look like. Like right now, it doesn't seem that way, but this is what you're doing for us.
And then there's someone that had to sit there as their job to CGI all of that together.
Yes, and like super, super detailed. Like
Yeah.
not just a stick figure. Like we need veins and creases and all kinds of stuff.
Texture and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hope they
was
got a
like,
raise for that.
I was surprised, but that was pretty funny. I did you notice that the main Golden Boy is
Hmm?
Schwarzenegger's son?
No, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Patty
What?
looked it
No, I
up.
didn't
She
even
was
notice
like,
that.
that's Schwarzenegger's son with his wife, and so I was
Oh,
like,
so
oh,
that's
that's
not the
pretty cool.
other son.
Yeah, I was like, sadly, the other son looks more like I feel like looks more like Schwarzenegger. I think
Yeah,
I think this Schwarzenegger looks more like his mother probably.
yeah.
Uh,
Because
uh,
the other one
y-
is yoked.
and I think that's what the comparison is that you see that that son got the kind of
The
like buff
Arnold
genetics and
genetics.
stuff and
Yes.
all that. So, well, I'll leave it at that. But that was Schwarzenegger's son. So I was like,
That's
oh, and I
crazy.
thought he was gonna go on for a long time, but then he just like
Oh,
first episode.
like 20 minutes. It's like, all right, cool, he's done.
He
Thank
probably went home, Dad. I got a
you.
job, but it's only for 1 hour.
It's like they paid me well, but I'm only in it for a couple
It's
minutes. Is
like,
that
don't
cool?
worry, Terminator money will keep it going.
And Huey from The Boys is Dennis Quaid's son, right?
Yes, yes. Oh,
Okay.
that's good. That's cool. That's a cool
Yeah.
like continuation of that to have like some form of it's not I don't know. I wouldn't call it nepotism, but
Like,
I guess you
yeah,
can.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But it's like good nepotism, like you don't mind it because they don't like broadcast it like, hey, it's my dad. Like
Yeah,
super
like I
low
didn't
key.
know about it until like Patty looked it up. So it's like I guess if
Yeah.
you're
I
in
didn't
the
know about it.
know,
You just told
you're
me right now.
so yeah. So it doesn't really affect anything. But
Yeah.
what's your thought on the characters?
I like them. I like Andre. I like Marie. I like the little supporting students or characters that you kind of just see in one off, like the invisible guy. You just see his glasses and his hat. And yeah, I like that they show the main characters, but they also show the like supporting cast students that are just around the campus because you wouldn't have ever known about those students or their powers otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And I think that kind of adds to like the world building where you kind of like this
Yeah.
is a campus full of people that are superheroes
Hmm.
and should have various powers that they have. And
Yeah.
so it is interesting to kind of see them. And you're like almost astounded by like, all right, like someone had to like think about all these different powers
Yeah.
and how to react them because like little cricket it would have never crossed my mind that like someone would say all right the only way she can get small is to by purging by doing this
Yeah.
it's like oh my god
Because you would think like,
like
oh, it's a snap of the fingers. Like, oh, I want to be
yeah
small. Snap my fingers and I'm small. Like, she's like, nah, I gotta go purge. Like
yeah it's like you kind
every
of
single
see like
time.
I don't want to do it like
Yeah. Like, okay, I guess I have this power. I gotta do something.
yeah so it's like super interesting because like I think no matter what you do kind of have like a lot of content to make a world around it and
Yeah.
we see that with the boys. But do you see from these two episodes, do you
Hmm.
see that this will kind of become a boys level kind of show? Or is the boys at another level where you're like, it's better or easier to watch or something? Or I don't know.
I think they're gonna be on par. I think it's gonna take a little bit of time, like maybe a season, if that. Maybe after we watch a couple more episodes, we might be like, oh, this is on par with it. But I think, yeah, I think it's gonna be similar to the boys. Um, I'm excited to see if they blend the two shows together. Like if there's a crossover of some sort, that would be cool.
Yeah, and I think confirming that you said that like the main character in Gen V kind of pops up
Oh yeah,
randomly
yeah, on the
during the
screen.
boys that could actually happen where it's like at least sort of like they're reacting to stuff that's happening from the seven
Yeah,
in the world that is like happening with them and stuff and so it's like it's kind of nice to see that like their worlds are combined and so
yeah.
we can kind of start seeing down the road if season 4 of the boys will have something that will affect Gen V
Gen
season
V.
2. And so that'd be
Yeah,
kind of cool, right? Like or like
or
things kind
even
of like
vice
react to each
versa.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, or even like something that happens later on in this, like affects since season four of The Boys is coming out after this. Maybe something that happens in season one of Gen V affects The Boys.
Like one of the new members of the 7 or something
Yeah,
or whatever comes from Gen V and stuff. That
student.
would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool. Yeah, that would be really cool. In terms of like where do you think the story's going? Do you I have a think I have a thought that the main character's sister is gonna come up later as like
yeah,
something. As like
for sure.
yeah, but like in
Because they
what
keep toying with it.
capacity?
I'm thinking. My guess. I think the sister has powers. The
You
fact
think?
that like the fact that the parents gave Marie Jen, like V, I think they gave it to the little daughter too, the younger daughter. I can't
That
see
makes
them just
sense.
being like, oh, we just want to give it to this our
Yeah, we'll
older
try it
daughter.
out.
Yeah, and see how it goes. So I think I agree with that. I think they're going to bring in the sister in some capacity. I'm also wondering how the woods is going to tie into all of this. Like what's going on in the woods that's going to affect these students.
Like, would it be shocking if like the main character Marie kind of finds her sister in the woods? Like, just
Ooh,
so happens that's why she was accepted to this college is because her sister's there or something. I don't know. Like that seems like
uh,
because that doctor lady, the dean, we
yeah,
kind of see that she has an
she's
ulterior motive.
shady.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
it's a
tell
shady
she's like
lady.
very shady.
Yeah. But I'm wondering what she has cooking up because she has to have something cooking up.
Yeah, and it's like she kind of goes into the woods and be like, all right, like you can already see that she's normalized to it. She's
Hmm.
like, whatever, everyone just needs to get their job done and stuff. And
Yeah,
this is just part of the university.
yeah. All right, f these kids. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like get it done.
Yeah, that's when you know it's like kind of bad. You're like, all right, like just everyone get the job done. We know we're dealing with kids, but who cares? It's like,
They're
all
not
right,
our
you're the
kids.
bad person. You're the real bad person.
Exactly. I didn't force you to do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really I'm intrigued by it, but at first I was like I to be honest I would be like I would rather watch The Boys.
Hmm.
Um, and but I think that's sort of like the benefit of this Gen V, where it's like it makes you want more from the boys, and then probably
Yeah,
when you watch the boys, you're gonna be like, I want more from Gen V.
yeah,
So I guess Amazon kind of hits something well with this, where it's like either show is gonna feed more watching of the other show.
yeah.
So they're pretty smart over there at Amazon.
Hmm. Hey, that's yeah. I'm excited for that. Like, I'm excited to find out more about the characters. Like, understand how or see how this all plays out, and then see how it ties into the boys because you know it's gonna tie. It has to tie into the boys. I don't know when season 4 is coming out, but yeah, there's gonna be some sort of tie-in. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to
you
see
kind
like
of
how that plays out.
you almost expect that like it
Yeah,
almost like if it doesn't then you're like okay that was a
like,
wasted
huh?
opportunity.
Yeah, like why did I watch 10 episodes? Like, come on.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like I'm excited about the next episodes, I think.
Yeah,
And so we have what episode 3 and 4 next
3 and
that we're
4 will
going to be
be next.
watching.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, yeah, any last comments?
check it out. It's still new, still fresh. We'll be watching at least a couple episodes a week and recording after. Uh, if you have any theories of what you think is going to occur after watching our episode or after watching a few episodes, if you have seen it, put it in the comments. Yeah,
Yeah, let us know. And please, yes, this is a new series. It's called TV Dinner and stuff, and so we wanted to kind of like start opening our minds to TV also, and other than movies. But if you like movies, we have Saturday Night Popcorn there for you. So please like and subscribe to our channel, Saturday Night Popcorn, and then also think about listening to TV Dinner.